Model railroaders. How boring is your layout? How do you take the boredom out, make it more interesting? And what do you do when you can't expand anymore? Well, you could add on to your house. I'm currently working on a basement on the other side of this wall. I got involved with beekeeping 12 years ago and I needed more room to store stuff. So if I give up beekeeping due to being too expensive or all my bees die or I can't physically do it anymore, I'm planning on putting a hole through the wall back here in this corner. I wouldn't do it up here. This is a branch line. The curves aren't big enough. I would do it down here. And I plan on having a CP spiral tunnel, Yoho National Park. Go through that wall with one track, have a turnout here. And then possibly if I wanted to come back in, I could come back in down here and get onto that track. I was doing buildings years ago until I got involved in doing custom locos, and I liked it so much that I've been doing custom locos for like 10 years. See, my layout is 25 years old. I started my layout right after I started building the house. So I've been doing custom locos for 10 years. I've done about 100 of them. And I'm running out of room. See, I just knocked over something there. I'm running out of room for locos. I only need a few more. Locomotives are getting way too expensive. I don't know how you guys can afford to buy them new. $200 to $300 now for a locomotive. I was buying them off eBay back in 2013 for $50 a locomotive. I was getting a lot of Cowdo SD40s for $50. That's why I was able to do so many custom locos. Oh, before I forget, if I wanted to, this is my Montana Rail Link branch line, and you see, I ended up with no power at the other end of the yard, and I currently have this train here, and there's no room to get the train out of the way for me to get power to the other end of this, and there's really no room to dissect this train. So the only option I have, and I thought about doing this, was to bring this curve around. It would be a tight radius. Bring it around and put a top on this and make that building, that's a building roof there, make that part underneath the rail yard here, but that would be a tight radius. That would be my only option, and end it right here. I thought about coming up off of here onto here, but that this is a gradual incline. It's hardly noticeable. So over here, it's higher than it is over there. Let me pause. All right, you see my 3 levels. I didn't want to do any higher levels because I have 2 windows in the basement. I didn't want to block the windows. It's kind of important to get in daylight. So there are the 3 levels. This is basically the lower one down here, which is the same level as this layout. This is just basically a place to put my NS coal train. But then I have 3 yards, 4 locomotive yards, or 5. There's so many I can't even count them. If you want to count this one down here too, 3, 4, and then 5 over there. So I can bring freight into this yard, and I have different little sidings here. I know they're close together. I was going to put buildings and stuff up against the wall, and that would bring in freight here, and then when you take stuff out, you could do that, take them off your train, and then you would come down around this little mountain or hill, whatever you want to call it, and you could do some more switching here, and that would end this ends of the branch line. And then you bring stuff in to this yard, you drop stuff off, pick stuff up, and then you would head out. And this yard here takes care of, all right, that yard there, and my second level. These are all the industries here that are on the same level. And basically they're not done either. So anyway, do the switching and stuff. Stuff goes back into that yard. And then this is basically a loop, a big giant loop. Loops have an advantage. You can run trains around, or you can run trains both directions out of the yard to end up somewhere else, versus having to go through the hassle of how do you get your power back on the front of your train, because you brought in a train and you don't have any way to get the power out. You're stuck. You get traffic jam. So anyway, you can come out this way and you'll end up down in this yard. And this yard right here serves, let me show you. All right, my lower yard serves all these businesses here: paper, lumber, the power plant, grain elevator, auto manufacturing plant, and that plant there, that factory makes plastic parts. And then I have my Schmidt making facility. So that's it for as far as my industries. There's really no room up here. This is all basically a railroad yard and engine facilities. There's a lot of things I can do in the future, but like I said, I'm concentrating on getting these locomotives that I want. There's only a few more that I need. And then after that, I can spend my money on buildings and such. But these locomotives are getting really expensive. It's getting way out of reach for me. There's a certain limit I will spend on a locomotive. I tried not to go over $100. I went over 100 on this one, 125 on this B23, because I wanted to build a B unit. Other than that, I try to keep it as cheap as I can. And you rarely ever see a B23BN on eBay. So there's a guy on YouTube, Boomer Diorama. He's got a tiny little shelf layout, and he spends a lot of time working on his scenery, and then he'll let his cat up there. I asked him once, do you get a lot of cat hair on your layout? And then I don't know what he responded. But anyway, I have huskies. I don't let my huskies down here, but I end up, sometimes I have hair on me. I don't notice it, and it seems to be attracted to plastic. And then when I go to clean the locomotive, and I look at the bottom, and there'd be a dog hair there. They're long hairs. They're not too hard to get out, but plastic has a charge, and it attracts hair. So that's probably the biggest issue I have, other than that, mice coming in here, because my house, I'm doing construction, and it's not all closed up. I get mice in here. But once I get my construction done and I concentrate on getting the mice not able to come in here anymore, I won't have these issues with mice droppings here and there. So you can see right there. I bet they have a good time down here in the middle of the night when I'm upstairs sleeping. So I guess that's basically it. If you have a tiny little layout and you can't expand, I see a lot of people that actually moved, left the house, and they've had to tear their layout apart. I'm sure when I die and somebody else gets this house, they're going to rip out this layout. Because I've got 25 years into this right now. It takes a lot of time to put this track down and do ballast. And all these people that want to do videos of their layout and not have ballast on their tracks, and they're doing sound decoders and everything else. Oh, come on. It doesn't even look real. You don't have ballast on your tracks, and you're going to worry about sound in your locomotive. Come on now. Just get some ballast on your tracks. I have a few issues I need to fix. I vacuum this, and sometimes it comes loose. And then I got to finish. I left off right here. I did this on the floor, this whole section here. Did it on the floor down here, and then I picked it up and put it up here, and I planned on continuing where I could reach it. But I just, like I said, well, I did this 3-4 years ago. I just haven't done anymore because I've been focusing. My money's been going on into these locos, these custom locos that I've been buying. But I'm almost done buying them. All right. Thank you.